Assalamu alaikum. I am Aisha Naim and I am going to present the paper Machine Learning Assisted DDoS Attack Detection with P4 Language. This paper was published in ICC 2020 conference by Francisco and Valentina. Before I start to explain the paper, let's first try to understand the problem and then see how the authors of this paper address the problem. So, I know most of you are well familiar with SDN, but those who have no previous knowledge, here is a brief intro to SDN. SDN has attracted the attention of many researchers in the last decade as it provides several advantages in comparison to traditional legacy networking. Basically, traditional networks can't cope up and meet current networking requirements like dynamic scalability, central control and management, on-the-fly changes or experiments, lesser error-prone manual configurations on each networking node, handling of network traffic, which have massively increased due to boom of mobile data, and server virtualization traffic in data centers. To deal with such issues, open source communities came together to define a networking approach for future. And that's how the concept of SDN came to life. As its name implies, SDN is implemented through software. SDN at its core is nothing but the separation of control plane from data plane in traditional network elements like switches and routers. However, due to their central role, the SDN controllers represent a vulnerable target for malicious cyber attacks such as distributed denial of service, where non-legitimate data packets are sent to overload the controllers, thus inhibiting proper functioning of data plane devices. Moreover, even when the DDoS attack victim is not the SDN controller, it might be overflooded due to default forwarding policies implemented in the SDN switches. In general, denial of service attacks aim at inhibiting a server, host, or application by repeatedly sending malicious traffic to the victim to overload its computing and network resources. In their distributed form, DDoS attacks are generated by multiple sources with different IP addresses so that using an IP addresses blacklist at the victim is not adequate to block the attacks. The most common DDoS attacks are usually grouped into the following categories: TCP flood, UDP flood, ICMP flood, and HTTP flood, according to the protocol used to perform the attack. This paper particularly focuses on TCP flood attacks, which exploit TCP connection initiation packets to target the victim. Usually, the attacker sends multiple SYN requests from multiple spoofed IP addresses, but it does not respond to victim's SYN ACK packet, as it is clear from this picture. This way, the victim system is halted while waiting for the ACK messages from all the senders, which would terminate the TCP connection setup. SDN can be augmented with stateful data planes to perform DDoS attack detection. In such scenarios, switches maintain persistent states, that is, they have the memory of handled packet, so that complex in-network per packet processing can be performed with no need for cooperating with control planes to make the forwarding decisions. Stateful data planes, besides reducing the data forwarding latency, can also be used to mitigate DDoS attacks by limiting the amount of malicious packets forwarded to the SDN controllers, thus preventing its overflooding. Stateful data planes can be implemented by P4, which is the data plane programming language considered in this paper. As we have seen just now, due to centralized nature of SDN, cyber attacks may seriously affect the functioning of SDN controllers and hence of the entire network. Therefore, it is important to limit the direct involvement of SDN controllers in DAD. In fact, a proper attack detection requires time-consuming and expensive deep packet inspection, which is not desirable to be implemented in SDN controllers. To offload SDN controllers from these heavy computations, in this paper, we leverage data plane programmability by adopting the P4 language. P4, which stands for Programming Protocol Independent Packet Processors. It is an open source language. P4 is a high-level programming language for routers and switches designed to allow programming of packet forwarding plane. In this figure, the DDoS attack detection module periodically receives traffic information from the P4 switch and based on such information performs attack detection so that the switch can decide if the packets can be forwarded or not. To this end, we model the DDoS attack detection into a binary classification problem, where 0 means no attack and 1 means there is attack. The detection module is generally constituted by two operational blocks, that is, one is feature extractor and the other is machine learning classifier. For each traffic window of duration ta starting at a generic time instant t, following features are extracted. First is average length. It is the average size of packet in bytes in the time window. Next is TCP ratio. It represents the percentage of TCP packets out of the total packets in the time window. UDP ratio. UDP ratio is similar to TCP ratio, but it represents the percentage of UDP packets. TCP to UDP ratio. It is the ratio between TCP and UDP packets in the time window. If no UDP packet is present in the window, we set this feature equal to a large finite number. Flags. These flags represent the percentage of TCP packets with an active SYN flag out of the total in time window. For the classification of attacks, the authors of this paper considered three different machine learning algorithms, namely random forest, k-nearest neighbor, and spot vector machine. For KNN, they used 9 neighbors. For SVM, RBF, that is radial basis function, was used as a kernel, and in random forest, number of trees were 10. The results in this figure were taken from paper, and it shows that RF has outperformed the KNN and SVM. And using RF, the authors were able to achieve 98% accuracy. Next, when I was going through this paper, I realized that in the machine learning environment, time series data, as that considered in this paper, is often handled by means of some artificial neural networks like RNN, LSTM. And when I reached to the end of this paper in the future work section, I found that authors also want to work on it. So, I decided to not implement what authors have done in this paper with traditional machine learning algorithms. Instead, I decided to implement it using recurrent neural networks. So, when I selected this project, I thought that I will have access to one of the lab at NUST and I would be able to collect data from P4 switch. But since then we had to work from home, I had no access to P4 switch for collecting the real-time data. As an alternative, I decided to use some dataset available at internet. So as a first step, I downloaded a well-rated dataset from Kaggle. In this dataset, traffic data for training and testing was collected using Spirent N4U traffic generator. The other parameters like trace duration was 30 minutes, TCP traffic rate was 4.5 Mbps, UDP traffic rate was 3.8, IP traffic was 1.7, and the attack rate was 100 kilobits per second. And the attack type was obviously a flood of SYN packets. And the traffic duration was varying between 0.5, 1, 2, 5 and 10 seconds. Here is my implementation of DDoS attack detection using bidirectional LSTM. I have used libraries like Keras and scikit-learn for bidirectional LSTM model. Next line read the CSV file of dataset. Number of samples in each file are 50,000. There were a lot of features of attack traffic in this dataset, but we need only few which I showed you earlier, so I had to drop the additional columns. Next, here is some data manipulation like standardization of data. I have split the dataset into 80% training data and 20% test data. Next is model creation. As you can see, there are 3 layers in the model, one bidirectional LSTM layer and the next 2 are deep layers. Number of neurons in the first layer are 64, then 128, and in the last layer it is 1. In compile optimizer I have used is Adam and the performance metric is accuracy. Next, this model is trained on the training dataset. Again, validation split is 20% and the number of epochs are 10. Here are the results. This figure shows the training and test set accuracy. As we can see, our model is approaching the accuracy of almost 98.5% in this figure. Similarly, loss is decreasing gradually Finally, here is the accuracy of this model on test data, which is 98.45%. If we compare this accuracy with the one presented in the paper, then this accuracy is slightly higher, like 0.45%. I think it can be increased further if I test this model for different values of hyperparameter, and I will do it in future. Thank you. If you have any questions, you can email me.